Hello everybody, it's Reggie Time here, and tonight I am playing 4 tables of 15L on Unibet. I have just randomly picked, not randomly picked 4 tables, I've just joined 4 tables. I won't be doing any table selecting because I don't think it makes a good video when I'm constantly switching tables in and out. On Unibet there is no game selection as such. So it can sometimes be a little bit laborious as we switch tables in and out when you feed your table with too many regulars. Like Brun example, I know it's a regular, Elvis is a regular, whatever it's called, Hugelade's a regular. And yeah, you can just get a little bit tiresome. It's fine if I'm playing a normal session. I would absolutely be swapping tables in and out. For the video, constantly pausing the video or having blank spots on the screen, etc. It's not good, so I'm not going to be doing it. I'm just going to be playing it as it comes and see how it goes. I don't feel I necessarily need to game select on this site. I think I can certainly more than hold my own in the 15-hour games without needing to bum hunt, although I do when I'm actually playing my own sessions. I do make sure I'm at good tables most of the time, just because I think it's good practice to do so. When Reginaldo, which I think is quite a cool name, similar to mine, when he checks back after betting the flop here, I'm kind of tempted to bet, but I think his check back probably to call quite a few rivers with his bluff catchers. So that's not really a trap that I particularly want to fall into. And I expect if he checks back here, he's going to show a hand like some kind of pocket pair or something like that. And maybe I could have got him to fold something like 2-7s here, but I don't think he always bets 2-7s, and wow, that's a sizing. Obviously there's nothing much you can do about it other than fold. I'm not really quite sure what's going on there, because that didn't make too much sense. Bet flop, check back turn, then bomb the river. Who knows, maybe he's had some slow play that he then realised, well, not slow play, maybe he's pot controlled the turn with some kind of ace and then realised it was good in the river when I checked it again to him and decided to bomb, when not really considering that my range is pretty weak and probably can't call. Or maybe he did just have some random bluff, who knows. It's impossible to say at this stage, but I'll certainly be keeping my eye out for him if he takes that line in future. Against other players, I'll certainly be trying to watch out for him and see the kind of things he gets to short down with. And how he plays them, because that was, not say super unusual, but it's not very often that you see someone c-bet, check back, then bomb. I mean, bet check bet is a pretty common line, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not a common line, but it's not a typical line when people drop a bomb on the river. Hugelade's a very loose aggressive player. He opens an awful lot of buttons, and who knows what his deal is, but it's going to be high. It's certainly going to be, well above average. I don't think Brun's a particularly big squeezer. Brun seems pretty nitty, but having said that, I still don't want to just flat my deuces here. Obviously, I remember 3-betting. I'm hoping to pick the pot up. Just because I just don't think, Hugelade, he might call a lot of 3-bets, who knows. Again, it's something when you play without stats, it's hard to know these things. And I have heard that Hold'em indicator works on Unibet. I think I mentioned it in a previous video. I've heard it works. I don't know if the regulars are using it or not. If they are, I wouldn't imagine too many will be shouting from the rooftops about that. But I don't know how I feel about maybe downloading Hold'em indicator and and using it, because I think it's kind of, if no one else is doing it, or few players are doing it, it's not something I'd be particularly comfortable with. I'd much rather I just knew people were using it and the site were fine with it, and then if that was the case, of course I would get that piece of software. But I don't know. I think it's right. I mean, having it, especially if it's banned from the site, it's not right on the cusp of ethical or unethical. It's just not right. It's just cheating. So I certainly won't be doing it just yet. But I probably will make inquiries if I intend to stick around longer term on Unibet. I will be making inquiries into exactly how Unibet feel about that software being used on their site. If it's a direct violation of the terms and conditions, I just won't use it. It's just not worth the risk of getting, risking your reputation, risking your bankroll if you were to get caught, etc. Just not worth it to me. And also on top of that, Hold'em Indicator is a particularly expensive piece of software, and on top of that, it's particularly crap. So yeah, with those things both in mind, I think I'm pretty comfortable not having it. And I'm only for tabling, so it's not like it's essential to have HUDs. And also on top of that, again, it's a semi-anonymous site. I mean, there are some players who don't see me seeing Hogglade every day up in here, so maybe he just never changes his screen name. So maybe we could build up some history with him. But typically on a semi-anonymous site where people can change their screen names on a daily basis, I'm not even sure what value there is of collecting stats on people. I mean, obviously there's some, but we are going to be dealing with dangerously low sample sizes a lot of the time. Just going to set mine here to keep Cowboy, or whatever you pronounce it, in the pot. I mean, I could easily 3-bet there. I mean, when somebody just 3x isolates, I've never won for giving a 3x isolation race too much credit. I think people typically isolate a bit bigger with the big cards, and big pairs. So now we're just going to lead out for some thin value from the player who we suspect to be the weak player in the pot. Because when Gorda checks that back, he almost never has an ace with a fish in the pot. I mean, you imagine he'd be value betting his ace most of the time. So when he doesn't value bet, I think he probably even value bet 2 kings there, 2 queens, that type of thing. So when he doesn't, I'm pretty sure my nines are going to be okay. But it's not him and I'm looking to get called by. I am looking to get called by the player that Limpton called. Table 2 looks like it did like it was going to be crap, because he's up against 2 regulars, 3-handed, which isn't something I'm wanting to be doing too often. Check by the ace jack here. I think I've got the best hand a lot, no need to bet. Could possibly pick off some turn stabs. Still again, I don't really see a huge amount of reasons to bet. If we're ahead, our hand's pretty invulnerable. Well, not pretty invulnerable, but it's not going to get stuck down too often. And if we're not ahead, it's pretty unlikely we'll get any folds. So no reason to bet there, other than to make him fold his equity share. But on the turn, his equity share, if we have in front, isn't going to be particularly high. So I'm not too worried about that. So we've had 2 players join table 2 now. No idea about either of them. Don't know, not familiar with either of the names. I'm not going to open here against Tuchel. Expect to get 3-bet a decent amount, which is going to fold if I do. But ace was clearly way too tight to way too good to fold there. Do I want to see bet this backdoor straight, backdoor flush draw, nothing much else going on. Just going to check and give up. I don't think Hugo's the guy that folds too much while we bet 50 cents. I'm just going to call, see if we can hit a spade or an ace or something. And we hit a 4, which really what I was wanting to hit. I won't be surprised if Hugo bombs it now, because I think players like him, when they do min bets, they're usually up to something. They maybe try, yeah, there we go with the bomb. Sometimes they're just trying to induce some kind of spew. Because I mean, he's too good a player too. I think he's too good a player anyway to be messing around with the min bet there, other than to like I said, min betting to induce something possibly. Who knows? I mean, I'd like to have a hand range just to see how he responds when it is. Maybe there would have been a bad time to try it actually with my backdoor draw. So next time we just, I think we'll just raise and just see what happens. So we've been 3-bet here by Elvis. We've got middle position. Elvis, it's a pretty tight regular 3-bet me from the small blind. King Queen off. It's going to go in the muck for me. And we're going to make way too many mistakes there. Poor slot when we hit or when we don't hit. The C bet the 6s here, it is super thin. But I kind of want to protect. I mean, between the two of them, they've probably got a decent amount of equity against me. And I mean, I want to protect my hand a little bit. I mean, I'm happy if they both fold. If we get called by a player, we can sometimes hit a 3 and feel pretty good about our hand. That is not a good card. I mean, I wasn't particularly happy when I got called. I'm less happy now. Another heart's hit. So now we're just going to check back and we're going to try and hit our full house or our straight flush. And we hit a full house, which I guess is something. And now the question is, as before, the S4 suited. Question is, can I bet my really low full house for value here? And what can I get called by? And I think I can, and I think I can get called by like 5x, flushes, straights. Just squeeze the ace-jack suited here. And we've been shoved on, which is kind of unfortunate. Kind of unfortunate that we've been shoved on, because I just don't think we can call. We just beat so little. And we sat out. I didn't mean to sit out, but I did mean to fold, so there's no hound on there, because I wasn't going to call anyway. Didn't realise my time bank was running out quite so quickly. I think, I mean, I guess we could have checked back there, but I just thought there's some value to be had from flushes, and from if he didn't have a pair of 5s or a pair of just some kind of like pair that was on the board on the flop. I mean, he could easily have been. I mean, he might be bad enough. Who knows? He might be bad enough to raise a worse hand for value there. I guess that's something I won't know just yet. But I think bet fold's definitely the appropriate line there. Well, I would be interested to see what other people think. Well, these games seem pretty aggressive right now, which is good. I like being sat in aggressive games. I am pretty much, well, I'm certainly on the tighter side. If you had a spectrum of regulars, I will be certainly in the tighter 50%. So when I'm sat in aggressive games, I feel pretty comfortable. Where you can just sit there, just do my tight thing, and just wait for people to make aggressive mistakes against me. And yeah, that might not be particularly inventive, might not be particularly creative, but it just works. And I know people question my methods. People say that playing tight, you can't win playing tight in modern poker. You have to be playing like super loose, super aggressive, doing all these things, and I think that's definitely it's a way that you can use to win at poker, but it's not the only way. I think I replied to a guy on 2+2 today who was trying to give me advice on why not to play tight, and I mean, he's got his reasons for playing the way he does. I'm going to call here with the 8-10 just to try and get in a pot with a big blind here. He may well be right in doing what he says, in that, you know, for him, playing loose works. But I think what we get when we play it loose is we play an awful lot of marginal hands that we're kind of just breaking even with. And what I tend to do is just cut those hands out a little bit more than most. So yeah, I mean, you could argue that I'm missing some plus EV spots, but I'm also missing some negative EV spots too that I think people play, and then they think they're plus EV, but I just don't think they are a lot of the time. And I can't really think of many examples that I want to give now while I'm trying to play. But if somebody just want to discuss why I feel that playing an 18-16 type style is just as good as playing a 24-20 or 26-22 type style, please make your case in whenever you see this video at, and I'll be delighted to respond to you. I'm just going to give up here. I don't think you're going to fold any pairs at this point. Probably wasn't going to fold King Ace either. So, he may have folded King Ace, who knows. But I think the way to beat these games is to just, in my opinion, keep pots small until you have a value hand, and then just try and get some money in the pot. It's pretty basic. It's nothing out of the ordinary. But as I was saying earlier, I just feel it's just what works best. It's certainly what works best for me. I think when we do play loose and aggressive, something that a lot of people tend not to take into account is, are they mentally equipped to do that? When they're playing their A game and when they're feeling good, perhaps they are. But what about when things are going wrong for them and they're still trying to do it? I've seen so many players just lose their mind. They're playing super loose aggressive and they just go on hyper tilt. And I would imagine loose aggressive players are way more subject to, are way more prone to large upswings and downswings that kind of tie in with their mental state at any given time. Whereas we play tighter, please play a bit more consistently. Of course, you're still subject to downswings, but I think you're way less subject to the emotional swings. I think you're way less subject to the swings in confidence, because there's less can go wrong. There's a lot less can go wrong, like technically with your game, a lot less can go wrong mentally with your game. So you're just able to just produce your A game more often, because there's less of a spectrum between like your A game and your D game, just because you're just not getting as many situations that you're not familiar with, or you're not getting in as many marginal neutral EV to negative EV to slightly plus EV situations. Yeah, I mean, you might want to think that's a coward's way out. You might want to think a lot of things like that. But coming from a micro stakes grinder's point of view, who does just want to play semi-recreationally, and I'm by no means a professional player, I do believe that we've got the nuts against Hugel, and he hasn't c-bet. Hugel doesn't c-bet very often though, so it doesn't necessarily mean he's giving up when he doesn't c-bet, although he did on that particular occasion. Let's c-bet the aces versus Gaz Jonas. Kind of hoping we don't get raised at any point here. We're just going to triple barrel, hoping not to get raised. If we do get raised, we're probably going to fold. And if the river bricks out there, if the river came like an offsuit 9 or something like that, I might just consider checking. Although I probably wouldn't. Yeah, so that's part of the reason why I do play tight. And people say to you, oh, you shouldn't be a coach if you can't do X, Y, and Z. It depends what you're coaching and what you're trying to achieve with your coaching. I mean, my coaching is aimed specifically at losing players, and players who are kind of break even or just slight winners. But basically, it's not aimed at somebody who's already a winning player and doing well. I'm not claiming that I can make a winning player even better. What I claim with my coaching is I can take losing players and I can teach them the methods I use to make me profitable. Do I want to call you with the Queen 9? I don't think so. And yeah, fair enough, I'm only teaching players to be like decent nits, But that's all you need to be. That's up to 50 NL. If you're a decent nit, you're going to be doing just fine. I'm going to bluff catch here against this Yogurton. You check back the flop, he just called the turn. Now he's bombing the river. And we win the pot. I didn't expect him to be going up a thin value with the 10. I kind of thought he was going to be a king or nothing there. The fact he turned up with the 10, I think is quite interesting. But yeah, this isn't meant to be a video to justify myself as a coach or as a player, by the way. It's just me just talking about my methods and why I use them and what I think I can do for players. If, like I say, if you are a losing player, 100% I can help you become a winning player. Will I turn you into the next Stewie Younger or some other equally famous player who's really good at poker? Probably not. Will I turn you into a player that's hard to beat and that makes money? Almost certainly. If you have the discipline and the work ethic and all the other qualities you need to be good at poker. I mean, if you haven't got those things, no. I mean, but then again, if you haven't got those things, they say not many people could teach you to be a winning player. But if you have the desire to be a winning player, and you have the discipline to follow my methods, I would be very confident I could take almost any player from being a losing player to a winning player. And yeah, that's kind of what I like doing. It's what I want to do. And it's where I position myself in the whole coaching spectrum. I'm kind of the bottom rung of the ladder, not in terms of like I'm a bad coach, just in terms of I'm aiming my work. I'm aiming to get work from kind of the weakest players, if you will. But my price is set accordingly. So yeah, I'm very comfortable with where I am and what I do. I think I'm going to stick around on Unibet for a little while now too, by the way. I have been playing on Sky, but the software is just really dreadful. I mean, you get a 15-second time bank and you get no extra time bank on that. It's pretty clunky. Sometimes I found myself having to click things 2 or 3 times to get them to work, which is pretty damn irritating. I find myself timing out here and there, and because the traffic is significantly lower than even the Unibet, the traffic's probably only about half as good, according to Poker Scout anyway. The traffic on Sky is about half of that of Unibet, so we only have like a found when I play on Sky. The times I want to play, I mean now, for example, it's 1 AM UK time. Most days on Sky, we're down to like maybe 300 or 400 people seated by then tops. And a lot of them are probably seated in tournaments and what have you. So it just doesn't really suit the schedule that I keep. I mean, if you're a UK player and you can play in the early evenings for quite a significant time, then yeah, it could still easily be for you. But with the shifts I work and just the way that I live my life, I like to spend time with my family when I'm not at work in the early evenings. I don't particularly want to be playing poker when there's things I can be doing with my wife, my children and what have you. So it just doesn't really suit me very well. I need to be playing more from, say, 10 AM onwards, sorry, 10 PM onwards. And I'd like to try and put 3 or 4 hours per day in. So if I'm doing that, Sky isn't really providing me with what I need it to provide me with. The difference between 888 and Unibet, I'm not sure, to be completely honest with you. I think Unibet's probably slightly softer, but there's not that much in it. But at the minute, I'm sure there's quite a few of the people here who do play on, well, not here, quite a few people watching the video who do play on 888, and they will have been experiencing quite a few frustrating software issues at the moment. 888, they did an update maybe 10 days ago, and it's a shocker. The bet slider now just doesn't work properly. Players are constantly getting disconnected. And it's not the first time it's happened. And yeah, Unibet's not perfect. It has its bugs, it has its problems. But I would say it's a more stable piece of software than 888 right now. And they get to play in euros, which is nice. So I mean, if I'm playing mostly 50 in dollars and I can find 50 euro games that are just as soft, it kind of makes sense to play the euro games. I'm just going to call here because this Kavix character, this 4i Kavix, I'm pretty sure he's a pretty big nit. So when he's 3-betting from middle position versus under the gun, I mean, I'm kind of not that much in love with Ace King. Now the question is, I think I'm probably chopping or in front of Kavix. Question is, can I get Gaz Jones off his pair? And I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's to try. But I'm not really concerned that I'm behind Kavix anymore once he checks there, because if he did have the big pair, I'm almost certain he would have bet there. I don't think he's going to be going for a check raise in that spot. Because my range is, it's not face up, but it's kind of looking a lot like medium to big pairs and high cards. So there's nothing that much to be scared of on that board. Again, I just called to try and play a pot with Kauba, and because Gota didn't see bet last time, there's less reason to go for a check, and also I can just value bet against Kauba. And if I get raised here by Gota, pretty easy fold. And just to clarify that, because I know people think donk betting is one of the weirdest things ever. Gota didn't see bet last time, and I know it's only small sample size, but we can only use what we've got in terms of the information we've got. And if he's not the sort of guy who's going to be c-betting too often, checking top pair there with the fish in the pot doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And we're going to 3-bet here against Yogurton because I'm pretty sure he's going to be a weak player. And we're just going to fold the fives. And we're going to be looking to try and build a big pot with Yogurton as quickly as possible. And that's pretty good flop. You'll notice that I'm not going to try and balance my bet size in here. If he's got a queen, if he's got 2 jacks or something like that, he isn't folding, no matter what I make it. And if he's got air, he's going to fold whether I make it $4 or $8. €4 or €8 most of the time. So each way to target's calling range there. I wouldn't use that sizing against a regular, pretty much ever. But against someone who suspects probably bad, I'm going to use it all day. And again, we're just going to go and c-bet him, 3-bet him again here. I won't be pumped if he 4-bets me. I won't be super excited. But I won't be folding either. And it looks like we've caught a pretty horrific flop, so I think this adventure's over. So we'll just fold. This is why we have it here. Quite explain the video if you have got this far and you didn't catch the speech bubbles at the start of the video. I am a MicroStakes coach. I'm currently working with around 20 players who between them maybe have 6 or 7 sessions per week. So although I am reasonably busy, I'm always looking for more work because I just like to be busy. I like to be busy with my play. I like to fill my time once the family's all settled for the night with lots and lots of poker stuff, be that playing, coaching, whatever it is. I do have a very good track record with novice players and long-term losing players. I have a very good record in helping turn them into winning players. My rates are $35 per hour for each one session, and they are cheaper if you want to take multiple sessions, and that may seem like a lot if you're just playing like 5L or something like that. It might seem like a lot of money. Please do read my testimonials. Please do ask me to join my Skype group, where you will be more than welcome to stay for a couple of days before making any decisions, where you can speak to people who I'm currently working with and get a feel for my methods. I don't do any high pressure sales whatsoever. If you do get in touch and you say it's not for you, I'm not going to be bombarding you with messages. My results speak for themselves. The feedback that I get from people I work with speaks for itself. I don't need to be putting the hard sell on people. So yeah, if you do want to talk to me about potentially being coached without any obligation whatsoever, please do just add me to Skype on reg11174, or see the contact details below in the comment section of the video. So that's $35 per hour. Cheaper rates available if you decide you want to take more than one session. So sorry for that little bit of spam there, but it was a quiet point, and I don't think it hurts too much just to pop a little bit in there. These games do seem particularly reggy right now. I guess because we're playing with a lot of European players. I guess it's maybe 2:15 or 3:15 in the morning. Traffic isn't particularly high right now on the site. There's usually at the peak times there's maybe close to 100 people playing the games. I think when I started there was 50 odd players, and kind of what can happen sometimes is a lot of the regulars can just start dropping off this time of night, and you can find some good games as tables break down and reform. For those of you who don't know how Unibet works, you don't actually join tables. There's no table selection. Just show the lobby. There's a lobby here. You just click join there or join there or whatever, and it just seats you at an available empty seat. You don't have any choice in where it puts you, and if there are currently no available seats, it just puts you on a waiting list to start a new table, like a table starter list. I think once 2 players are on a wait list for a new table, it just creates a new table, and then again you have no control of where you sit at that table. You just position, and games tend to form around you quite quickly. So I like it in a way, because it does eliminate a lot of the table selecting issues that some people don't like. I mean, from my point of view, I'd prefer to have some table selection, because I believe I'm a good table selector. I believe that it's a strength of mine. It's something I'd like to be able to do. But that said, it's not the end all be all that I can't do it. Particularly when the sites you can table select at the moment, you can't do it on Party Poker really. Unlike PokerStars and 888, there's probably a lot of scripters in action, so it's hard to get good tables anyway. So yeah, and on Sky you can table select, but the problem with Sky is you can open tables for a while and just sit, and just nobody sits you. So you could be sat with maybe wasting 15-20 minutes of your grind just waiting for games to start around you. There are quite a lot of heavily multi-tabling regs on Sky. I have no idea how the hell they do it, because the software is so poor, but they are there, they do exist, and so the games aren't always that great. There might often be maybe 12 tables of 15 hour running, but they might have the same 7 regs at nearly all of them. So yeah, there is some table selection, but not a great amount. Unfortunately, we haven't had too much to talk about from a poker strategy sense in this video, which is a shame. I was kind of hoping for better games than this at this time of night. Let's have a little look around. We've got table 3 here. Pretty much looks like all regulars. We have Big Ben at 3 tables, so he's pretty almost guaranteed to be a regular. We have Hugel or Hoggle, whatever it's called. I think is at every table. No, he's at 3 of the tables, but I already knew he was a regular. Who else can we see at more than one table? Is there anybody? I know Simi is a pretty tight regular. He's been his stack size makes him look fishy, but he's a pretty tight regular. It's kind of like a weak tight sort of player. I will be squeezing here with the ace queen suited up on table 2. If I get 4-bet by Big Ben, I'll probably fold. If I get back raised by Gazzy Johnny's, I will almost certainly just be getting the money in. I mean, what we don't really want to happen here is both players to call and us just to miss. That's kind of the worst case scenario, but we need to be prepared for that to happen. And if we do miss, depending on how hard I miss, I'll probably just be check folding. But as it happens, both players fold and we pick up an OK pot. I do apologise slightly for the overlay, by the way. I hope it's not distressing you too much. You can certainly see all the action still at every table. If the tables go much smaller, I'm a little bit concerned of how well it will come out on the video. In terms of being able to see players' stack sizes and names players that I'm referring to. I think it'll probably come out okay, but I think it's fine. Like I said, there is a little bit of overlay, but it doesn't feel like it's a sort of thing that's going to really affect the video quality too badly. I think I might just sub this bottom left table out, look, it seems particularly bad. So I'll just show you how I do that when I am table selecting on his site. I go to the lobby, I just open a brand new table. I sit at it, and then we just leave that table and title them back in, like so. And who knows, this next table might be no better than our current table. I'm going to 3-bet against Hugo because it steals a heck of a lot. And who knows, he might call with worse, he might not, but he doesn't c-bet very much either. If he doesn't c-bet very much, there's not much sense in. I mean, if you start to play c-bet too much, calling with ace queen there might be a good thing, because we can certainly lay some traps, but he doesn't c-bet very often. So I'm just happy just 3-bet there, and I probably wouldn't fold to a 4-bet, even though maybe you should, because he has folded to pretty much all of my c-bets so far tonight. So maybe, sorry, my 3-bets, so maybe folding to his 4-bets might be the way. I could 3-bet him again here, but again, we have this guy in the big blind, Kaura, who I have no idea, but I suspect might be a weak player. Do I want to call here against? I think I do just about. His stack is getting to the point where I don't particularly want to be calling because there isn't very much to win. But wow, we thought to set. I think he's just about got enough money. I'm going to bet really big here because I think if anyone's got an ace, I'm just not going to fold it. And here we're just going to shove on Gazzy because I don't think he's going to. There's lots of stuff he's not going to fold here. He's going to fold a king. That he's going to fold some kind of flush draw. We're not going to fold 2 pair. He did find a fold there. We bet and we got called in 2 spots on this top table. And wow, and then we get dunked into hugely. I kind of just want to fold here right now. Because, I mean, what did he check call with that's now going to donk this turn? Wow. Am I really going to fold a set here? Yep, I guess I am. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe he doesn't have a flush there. But, well, we timed out again. That's unfortunate. But I wasn't planning on calling anyway again. But I really don't know about the spot there. I don't know anything about them what's he called? Damn LQB. I mean, maybe he just has a pair with a massive spade there. I don't know. Maybe I could. What I didn't want to do was just call and have him shove the river, and then not really want to pay off on a brick. I mean, yeah, we've got a set there, but do I really want to go for like another $40 with a set on that board? I mean, Jack Queen's beating me. A lot of the doubt he has Jack Queen too often because he probably would have raised a flop. I don't think he has ace and kings very often, so he only reps a flush. And the problem is when he pots the turn and shoves the river, I think he has to flush a decent amount of the time, and that's the problem. So yeah, that was a pretty tight fold. But I'm comfortable enough with it. Apologies for the silence there. I was kind of just mulling over that situation because folding sets really isn't something I enjoy doing. It's something I find very, very difficult because it's just so damn hard to make. I mean, then you flop set, you get really excited, you get called on that board, so you're kind of thinking, boom, hopefully he's got the ace or some kind of two pair or something like that. And then you kind of find yourself being forced to fold it, and it's a little bit disappointing. I won't be staying at the table too much longer. Not particularly motivated to play with the two regulars, so we'll just use our new table selection method. Here we're going to call to keep the player we suspect's weak in the pot again. Set out next big blind there, and we haven't flopped particularly well, so we'll just be check folding now. And away goes that table, and in comes the new one. And we move on. Dead man, what do I know about you? Not much. Jack Queen, Jack 9 off suit, blind versus blind. It's just about okay to call, I think. And if we're going to flop two pair, why the hell not? Why the hell not? I'm going to race here, because I would race a lot of my draws here on this kind of board, so I think we can definitely get some good action. Been 3-bet by Elvis. And my pocket sevens I'll leave in the building. 10-8's just got in the bottom table. Not particularly concerned by that. If he's got 10-8, hallelujah, he's going to win my stack probably. And there's nothing much I'm going to be able to do about it. When he does call low, I think he's going to have an overpair a heck of a lot here. Or like ace jack, things like that. So I'm going to check the weaker player here and not fold if he bets. Same again. On the turn, just really want to try and show my hand down at this point. Against dead man, I'm kind of hoping to play a big pot. I'm going to call here and probably fold the river if he bombs it, unless I hit the straight, which I don't do unfortunately, so we're just going to be check folding unless he bets some really tiny bet like $2 or something, and we won the pot, which is nice. Probably lucky that he hit the 9, because if he hadn't hit the 9 he may well have bluffed again and I would have folded, so thank you for the 9. So do we want to be leaving table 3? I don't think so, because I've got this glorified character who I haven't paid any attention to, which means they've probably been pretty inactive, or at least inactive in spots where inactive in spots against me. So I mean, I don't really know if they're good player, bad player, who knows what player. But we'll stick around now because we'll try and pay a little bit more attention to what's going on. Now we've gone three-handed. Just going to check folding here against what's his face. And we're going to check again because we know he doesn't mind stabbing sometimes. Just going to call. Probably check call at over 2 because last time he checked back when he had a small piece. So he bets here. I think he's way more likely to be polarised to. Well, not polarised, that's a wrong word to use, but I think he's going to definitely have some bluffs in his range because he checked back before. If he had like an 8, I'd expect him to check back here. Unfortunately, again, he was just bluffing the turn. And we paid him off for a small bet, which I don't mind because I just do expect him to have a decent amount of bluffs there. So when he gives us such a good price, I'm perfectly happy to bluff catch. Pretty sure I'm going to get rid of this table 3 in a moment because Glorified doesn't appear to be doing anything, and Big Ben is just a regular. There's a straight on the board here, so I could call for a chop. I'm not that into calling for chops, just going to let him have it. Not too concerned. There's plenty of ways we can be beat there. He's just putting it. Of course, he's probably got us up a chop most of the time. But just calling to chop a pot. I'm not asked about doing stuff like that. And this bottom left table, just nothing's happening. Wow. Glorified's finally woke up with the 3-bet as I say that. So I'm probably going to swap it out and I know I said at the start of the video I wasn't going to do this. But it's just a desperately dull table. So just rather it didn't exist, to be completely honest. And we go straight into another table with 2 regulars, so we'll just close that one. My Big Ben does seem particularly aggressive, so I will be 3-betting Ace King and just not folding to him. As you can see in this video, I've not really got out of line at any point. I don't think it's really particularly necessary to get too far out of line. That we can get the job done without getting out of line, because people they're that worried about being exploited. They just make daft plays. They don't understand, or they don't understand. They're not really that worried about being exploited by. No, how do I word this? Because I'm wording this all wrong. The people are that worried about being exploited that they just do some daft things sometimes rather than just take things at face value. Absolutely no reason to do anything other than call this check raise on a board that's as dry as that. He's just going to have so many bluffs in his range, and if he's got 2s or 3s, well, fuck my life basically. And yeah, it looks like he's just giving up now. But in the off chance he isn't giving up, I'm going to drop a bomb because I don't particularly want another heart to come off. I've been check raised here with 2 pairs. I guess I'm just going to fold. Again, that could be pretty tight. Just going to bomb it here because I think he might just have 2 pair or something like that. Or who knows what. I mean, it's going to be pretty gross if he shoves on me because I'm probably going to have to call it off drawing dead, but I I mean, I just think he might just have, who knows, he might just have 2 queens, 2 jacks, something like that here, or who knows what he can have. But he did call by the look of things, so let's see what he looked me up with. He just had 9-8, which seems insane to me. And again, that's just like I was saying earlier, just like I was saying before that pot came about. People just do things because they're not really taking anyone's image into account. They're just doing whatever they do because people just have their standard lines. I always do this with this hand in this spot, etc., etc. I think that's really poor by most people, but they just do it, and it doesn't matter that I'm playing super tight. It doesn't matter that my ranges are pretty much very, very value heavy because they don't care. So, wow, I'm making some big laydowns tonight. Here comes another one. I'm going to get so much stick on Reddit for this video. All the big laydowns I'm making, but I just have a pathological hatred of paying off. If I get bluffed in a few small pots with some pretty strong hands, well, so be it. I'm not too concerned. Oh man, I mean, I've been putting some strange spots. Wow. I mean, this guy's check raised 2 people. I mean, is he really doing it with just a naked jack? I'm just going to fold again, because I think when people just check raise 2 people on boards that are as dry as that, and these guys are both deep as well. I mean, that's like the 4th big fold I've made in what seems like just 5 minutes. Who knows? I've not been confident with any one of them, but at the same time, each time there's been so much money left behind to play for, and I've just not been. When we look ahead and think, well, what happens next? I mean, am I really going to just call down with 1 pair, or with trips on a flushing board, or with a set on a very coordinated board? I think the answer most of the time is just going to be no. I think it'd be horrendous for you to just call down in those spots. I just don't believe people are bluffing enough. So, and yeah, I've made some tight folds, but this is just how I do my business. This is how I go about my poker. I am probably very exploitable, but I just, as I said before, I just don't believe people are exploiting me enough for me to be even close to being concerned about it. I think when people are check raising boards, they're usually somewhat close to the top of the range, and I know the hand with Big Ben kind of disproves that a little bit. But I still think overall people are close to the top of the range when they're check raising, and usually when people are close to the top of their range, you need to be pretty close to the nuts to want to call them down, and I've not been close to the nuts in many of the spots. I mean, yes, set of 10s, it's a really, really good hand, but at the same time, if he is value betting, I'm probably pretty much dead. Just going to keep checking here against Toggle. Hughley checks back a heck of a lot, so I'm presuming he's checking back a heck of a lot to not fold. So I guess we'll soon see now when I bet into him here. Who knows? Maybe, I mean, he could just be one of those regulars that's like super laggy pre-flop and a complete nip post-flop. Certainly the impression was starting to get of him. And that could be wrong. I mean, he might not be, but he's certainly been to strike me now as like a real pre-flop loose aggressive machine, and post-flop he just seems uber weak tight. But maybe I don't know enough about him to tell that as a confirmed read. Won't be folding to Big Ben here if I get 3-bet. Then my main decision is going to be whether to 4-bet or not. Lots of aggression tonight. Lots of folding from Reggie time. And check back here with the Ace Queen. Don't see many reasons to bet. No, I see plenty of reasons to bet. Plenty to protect against. Enough that I can get value from. A 3-bet versus Big Ben here, and I'll be 3-bet, 5-bet shoving. Unfortunately, he doesn't give me the opportunity to do that, and we've come across not the best of flops. He did snap call me though, so I think I can just make a C-bet here and have him fold a decent amount of his range. I don't think he's ever going to get him to fold a better hand, but I think he's aggressive enough to just auto bet if I check, and I kind of don't want that to happen because I'm going to have to fold most of the time. But I guess all I've done now is just cost myself an extra €5, because I certainly cannot continue in this pot if he makes a decent sized bet. I mean, I'm getting quite irritated by Big Ben, to be honest with you. And, well, not quite irritated, but how can I put it? Yeah, it's just like one of these bad regulars who just isn't that into folding. So I'm going to be looking to make quite a few, to lay quite a few traps for him, because I just think he's going to be, I think he's just going to be overly aggressive. And if he wants to play Captain Aggro, then, well, then I need to start playing a different style against him. I don't want to fight fire with fire. I just got on the Helmuth route of doing an awful lot of checking and calling versus him. Just kind of force him to have hands more often. And he might well have a hand here for the record. If you triple barrels off here, I wouldn't be too pleased. I'm quite surprised he didn't empty the clip there. I mean, with the kind of way it's been going with us, you can absolutely expect to get called by me there, you know, a lot of the time. Here I'm just going to overbet this turn against this fish, because why not? You can definitely call with worse, and that is a pretty disgusting river. I mean, the flush draws missed, straight draws got there. I might have to make another huge fold. Setting up 50 cents. I've absolutely no idea what just went on in that hand, but I'll take it. Big Ben trying to check back. Time to start betting with our top pair, flush draw and gut shot, I think. And now I'm going to check call, because I think he might just bluff a decent amount. A lot of things missed there. He didn't bluff, so maybe my read on Ben's wrong. Maybe he's just had hands a few times. Who knows? Interesting what he checked back there. He had a pair 7-9. I seem to have lost track of time in this video. I've no idea how long I've been going for. 59 minutes, wow. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? So yes, I think we'll be ending this video shortly, because I don't think anybody wants to watch more than an hour of poker talk at any one time. Maybe they do, who knows. Yeah, I mean, I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's been interesting. I've made an absolute massive amount of hero folds, more than ever made in a video, I think. And who knows how good they've all been. I'm certainly expecting to attract some ridicule from some parts. For if anyone does get that far into the video, I mean, I'm not sure how many of my detractors watch my videos into more than like the first 5 minutes or so, but maybe some do. If they do, please do comment on them. If you want to troll me, please go ahead and troll me. I don't really care. If you have any kind of constructive to say, which will add to the video, please do leave it in the comments section. But for now, I'm just going to leave it with please, if you've got this far, you've enjoyed the video, you've enjoyed how I've gone about my business, and would like to get some coaching from me, please do get in touch. If not, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sure I'll be producing another video very soon. So all that's left for me to do now is to bid you all farewell, and hope that you all be lucky and take care until the next video. Bye bye for now.